So I didn't think we needed to sit with another field of wheat behind us, so I've come down and sat in our species-rich meadow, which we've created through the higher tier and the high-level stewardship. Really nice place to be on a sunny day. Meadow buttercups, lots of bees, black medic, vetch, whitethroat singing, yellowhammer singing, grey partridge calling in the background, so it's quite nice to be down here. But I was going to talk about one of the other demonstrations that we had running this year, which was the biomass trial. The last couple of years we've been looking at how we can try and influence early season biomass in winter crops, either by placing fertiliser straight into the root zone at establishment, and then if you can't place it with the drills you got, is it worth broadcasting fertiliser on the surface, which is the other option. All the fertilisers blends that we were using were chosen because of the research that had shown that they had benefits for the rooting system. So we had TSP, polysulfate and kieserite, all the ones which we sort of played with on this farm for the last few years, and we saw benefits to shoot numbers in early spring, but it never really sort of quantified itself to yield at the end of the day. But was that because we were seeing the seasons that didn't really need it, whereas with the very wet, cold winter and erratic establishment that we had this year, was placing fertiliser in those cold soils, giving the young seedlings and young roots something to really feed on, a benefit, and will we see the benefit later on in the season. So something that we've sort of looked at and toyed with. I see that it could be something that we really do need to consider going forward. Nutrient utilisation and efficiency is something that we've got to be much more aware of and much more pragmatic about knowing and understanding. And with the work that we've done with the cover crops and the drain sampling, we see that nutrients are going down the drain all the way through the winter. So by getting a bigger biomass, bigger root system, better scavenging of the nutrients that the plants require going through winter, will that benefit us, and will we see a payback for the investment we made at the start? And that was the real thinking behind it. So this one won't be carried forward, this trial, for next year. We sort of played around with it for 3 years, seen some benefits which haven't knocked on effect to yield or cost of production, hasn't been sort of positive, but I seriously think that it's something that we need to be sort of still understanding and using at the right times. And I think seasons like we've had, where we had a very wet, cold, late season, then I think it has benefited the crop that we've got now. So that's just my sort of observations, and hopefully the results meeting might show something which will sort of benefit everyone who's sort of tuning in. So enjoy the sunshine. I'll go and find the next trial, which is just up the track. So enjoy the sun, as I say, and we'll see you another day.
Today I'm talking about the early crop biomass demonstrations at the Strategic Farm East. These address the agronomic challenge of achieving high yields whilst using delayed drilling as an integrated management technique, for example, to reduce blackgrass. However, the END project has shown that later drilling is linked to reduced early crop biomass, which results in lower yields. 2 field trials are being carried out this year, using starter fertilisers to improve initial crop establishment and assess whether they lead to significant yield improvements. Measurements being taken include plant population, biomass, NDVI, green area index and yield. First trial is on a sandy loam which was strip tilled and fertiliser placed with seed, drilled on October the 30th with a variable seed rate. Products applied were kieserites, triple superphosphate and polysulfate, all at a rate of 125 kilograms per hectare. And the field layout can be seen on the left. Initial soil analysis for this field shows it to be alkaline with ample reserves of both P and K. Second trial was on a sandy loam, which was ploughed and the fertiliser broadcast. It was drilled on the 19th of October and the fertiliser was applied on the 30th. Treatments were the same as the previous site, but broadcast instead of placed. Again, the field layout can be seen on the left, where the white areas show the overlap between spreadabouts. Again, the soil was alkaline, but much lower in levels of P and K. Plant populations were assessed from emergence to growth stage 21. Figure on the left shows the results for the broadcast trial, and on the right for the placed fertiliser trial. Although there seems some variation, particularly where fertiliser was broadcast, these were not significant. Crown fields, however, had higher populations, probably caused by differences in establishment practice, i.e. the variable seed rate from strip tillage, or better nutrient availability. This figure shows dry matter yield responses to treatments compared to the untreated control at tillery. Although most responses were positive, they were very small, i.e. less than 0.2 tonnes per hectare. However, it's interesting to see that the largest response was to incorporated triple superphosphate, whilst there was no response where it was broadcast. However, this is hardly surprising given the general immobility of phosphate within the soil. So the next steps, we're going to continue to monitor changes in crop growth by satellite NDVI throughout the season, measure yield at harvest using ADAS agronomics line trial approach, and as with any field scale trial, evaluate the data in light of natural field variation, particularly variations in soil texture.